Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Wanted to talk a little bit about my favorite lifts. If you're on the website, if you see my other videos, you know I like to lift weights. Kind of my favorite activity. But there are some lifts that I really like, and they usually have to mean that I'm getting stronger at them and they don't hurt. So maybe I'll go to a couple that I don't like. I don't like to do chin-ups because I'm a large and I can't do them. I'm too heavy and I'm not strong enough, so I don't like to do them. So they're not my favorite. Another one I don't like are pull downs, the kind you do for your back. For some reason, they really hurt my elbows and shoulders. They're just too hard on I think especially my shoulder. It feels like I'm going to pull my socket out. So I have done them a lot in the past. I got kind of a wide back, so but now all I do for my back are bent over rows and deadlifts and shrugs and rack pulls. So the width of the back, seems to me you can make good use of the bent rows to keep not only the thickness but the width. So yeah, that's a lift I don't like to do. Another one I don't like to do are straight barbell curls. They're hard on my wrists and elbows. For some reason I just can't get into that position, even though I have done them in the past, and I'll probably try to do them. Right now all I do are dumbbell curls. That doesn't seem to hurt my bad elbow that much. Seems to keeping decent arm size. Now it's hard to get granularity, granular improvements in weight when you're doing dumbbell curls, because they only go up by 5-pound increments at a normal gym. So you can't just put on tiny increases. So you're mostly going to be pumping your arms anyway. It's going to be hard to, not like you can keep going up in weights until you're curling 200, 100-pound dumbbells. That's very, very rare. You're probably going to wreck yourself tremendously doing something like that anyway. So the barbell curls aren't another favorite of mine. So let's get into the favorites. Well, benching. I finally learned how to bench properly with my elbows at a 45-degree angle and getting all tight and finally getting that right setup. And now they don't really bother my shoulders anymore like I used to when I was a younger man. So they're a favorite. The bent over rows, as Athlete X talks about it, where you lift the barbell off of a rack just below your knees. So you're not bending over so far and not pulling the weight off the ground. Your body is closer to a 45-degree angle when you start. That's a very good lift. Like I said, the dumbbell curls. I like the tricep push downs. I can usually do those. Again, with that elbow, that's a hard lift to do if you got a bad elbow, but they seem to work really good for your triceps. What else do I like? I like the overhead press, standing overhead press. Again, it takes a lot of wind, so you can't really do high reps on an exercise like that. 3 to 5. That's basically it. And you're trying to keep increasing the weight. But yeah, it's a tough lift, but it's good for you, even though most people don't do it. Squatting, of course. I like to squat. I like the effect it gives on my body, but it's the hard part. It's not really my legs. It's it's the bar resting on my back, and the stress it puts on your shoulders and wrists and elbows when you're trying to get into the position, even if you're focusing on trying to get that right setup. But it is extremely good for you. And if you don't go, sometimes people will squat, they'll go too high at reps, and that's where you build that massive size in your lower body, and you may not like that look. some men look good that way, a lot don't. Some men, you get too big on your lower body. You want it in proportion, or your upper body kind of bigger looking than your legs. Your legs need to be strong and fit, and with that nice shape above your knees, but you don't want to go overboard, because it does take a lot out of you. I mean, I don't squat every week. It's usually every other week or so. It kind of depends on how I feel. Like if I tweak my knee or something, yeah, I'm gonna have to rest. Or if I tweak my upper body, I might squat more because I can't use my upper body. Deadlifts, that's another favorite lift. I remember I deadlifted 500 pounds when I was a senior in high school, and that was on a smooth bar. I don't know how the heck I did so much at that point, because I really wasn't trained. Must have just been very strong, and I've kind of on and off, always been up in the 400s in my 20s. And then even, I can remember doing around 400 even in my early 40s, before I was right when I left my wife. And I did them, but then I hurt my shoulder benching, of course, and before I learned the right technique, and couldn't really lift at all for many years. Even though that was what I needed the most, I couldn't lift at all at that time. But now deadlifting, I just deadlifted yesterday, 3 reps, 345 pounds. Now, that's pretty good for me. It's the most I've done in quite some time. I did 2 reps well, and then I had to kind of reset because my hands, they're having a hard time holding the bar. If you're a big lifter, that 345 pounds isn't going to seem like a lot to you. But if you're a novice, or if you're just starting, that's a lot of weight on your arms. And I've developed, I think, very good form on the deadlift, using the starting strength book to get to that, to figure out the right form. But that seems to work really well for me. And yeah, I would like to get to the 5 reps, but it takes a lot of wind even at 5 reps. So yeah, that's another good lift. Leg presses, I like leg presses. I don't like to do them all the time though, because sometimes if you do too many leg presses, your legs are going to get too big. But they do tend to give you that they give you all that power, for one thing. I've maybe within the last 2 years, I've leg pressed 700 pounds for like 12 or 15 reps, probably 12 reps. So that's pretty heavy, and that's going deep. It's not just a quarter reps. Those are full range reps. That's a good one. What I don't do is I don't do anything else for my legs, except for calf raises. After I use the leg press, I'll do the calf raises, and just use that same weight for one big set of calf raises. Let's see if I get over here. The traffic is murder today. It's probably the first day back in school, so there's something going on that's really slowing traffic down here. But I don't do leg extensions. I don't do leg curls. If you're doing full range squats and full range leg presses, that's a lot of stress on your legs already. I don't know that you need that. Yeah, maybe I'm leaving some gains on the table by not doing them, but I just don't want to spend all my time in the gym. I have so much more to do. And if you're taking plenty of time between sets, as you should, so you're well recovered to between your warm-ups and your heavy set, and between exercises, your gym workout will take a long time. So that's basic. Oh, another one I like are the rack pulls and the shrugs. Now, I don't really do these a lot either, because they're pretty taxing on your body. And but I do sprinkle them in So ideally, you know, I would probably do 1 week, I would do my shoulder presses and then deadlifts, and then the next week I would do my shoulder presses and squats, and the next week I would do my shoulder presses, rack pulls, and shrugs, and then start over with the squats. And then if I have energy during that workout, then I might do a leg press on a non-squatting day. So you can see I'm not, and that's just on every week on an ideal week. And then the other workout would be an upper body, like a chest and back. And then at the end of that shoulder, leg, or upper back workout, I would do some arm work. So I'm trying to work my arms twice a week and all the other body parts once a week. That's kind of my system. If I have even more energy and I want to work 3 times a week, then that third workout would just be arms. Just be arms. I don't know where people have the time and energy to do more than 3 workouts a week, weight training workouts. If you have a full-time job and other things you want to do, twice is very difficult for me to even do that. So anyway, favorite lifts, I guess that's it. There's not really much for abs. Sometimes I'll do crunches. Neck extensions, that's a pretty good one. You might need to do that one for your neck. So anyway, that's all for now. Thanks.